Manchester United are undefeated in 5. That's a big positive to take into the international break, ladies and gents. But it's 4 points dropped from winning positions in 2 consecutive away games, and there are definitely lessons to take forward from that Spurs game. Let's talk about Mbeumo, Ahmad, Lammens, Amorim's approach to the game, and much more. So Manchester United are heading into this international break undefeated in 5. I'm taking that. There are positives to take from that game, but that game against Spurs again showed a pattern that's emerging this season that I want to discuss in this video. So let's get into it. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you going into this international break full of positivity? Or are you asking questions? In truth, I'm doing both. But we are unbeaten in 5. And that's the first point that we have to start with. Because that is, I'll be honest, like the standards were on the floor last season. Not laughing there. 15th. Lost the Europa final. Bloody Spurs. They are our new bogey team. And we've just got rid of the Brighton bogey team label. Don't think we got rid of it with Spurs. Unbeaten in 5. And inside that 5, we've had some good results. However, in these last 2 games, we have dropped 4 points from the exact same position. And that's what I'm going to be speaking about next. But Ruben Amorim will be happy at that progress because it has been progress. And especially if you look at what happened in those games. You might get bored of hearing this, but this is just a pattern that's emerging. Liverpool concede in the 77th minute, go on to win it. We don't do that last season. Forest, 2-1 down within 5 minutes of the second half. We come back, we get a point. We could have won it, but Mourinho got it offline. We wouldn't have done that last season. Spurs, 2-1 down, conceded in the, the 9th, I don't know when it was, 91st minute? Is it that late? 87th minute? Don't care. And we're down to 10 men because Šeško went off with a knee injury, but we get a last-minute equaliser. We don't do that last season. So in that sense, that's a step in the right direction. However, let's speak about that second half because there have been a lot of second half failures from United this season. Again, that's a pattern that's emerging. Ruben Amorim speaking after the game there, saying, look, we're just in the beginning. And we are. We're nowhere near the end game of how good United need to be. But that Spurs game there, that's why I was frustrated after the game yesterday. First half, Spurs were so unbelievably poor. And we could have and should have scored more than one. We didn't. And then the second half happened. And then the subs happened, and I'll speak about those next. And Spurs got back into it. Now, I'm going to show you 2 things here. It's going to make you sick, really. This is a table, so far in the Premier League, just on first halves. And right now, in the league, Manchester United are quite literally the best team in the whole league as far as results at half-time. In terms of our first half performances, no one's better than us. And there's only 2 teams worse than us in the second half. That is such a... my God. It literally is nearly the 2 extremes. 1st and 18th. That's how good we are in first halves. That's how bad we are in second halves. Now, that's going to have to come down to game management. That's going to have to come down to Amorim. That's going to have to come down to the whole package. But, of course, a part of that is subs. And that's what I want to speak about now, right? Let's talk about them. These subs here. Šeško coming on for Mazraoui. Ahmad going to right wing back. That made sense. It was a good sub. Yoro coming on for Maguire. Understood that. Made sense. Mount for Cunha. You can argue about that, but I think that was a fine sub. You could have even started Mason Mount. The Ugarte Casemiro one is the one that everyone's going to be speaking about, and I'm going to show you exactly why. And Delo for Dorgu. Is that just because Dorgu got a yellow card? I think probably. But this here. I didn't realise how severe the drop-off was without Casemiro in the team. But it's stark. And probably you can go back to this and say it's kind of a direct reflection of this. How much better we are in first halves versus second halves. And how many goals we can see when Casemiro's not on the pitch versus on the pitch. Ugarte's been dropped from the team. He's not in the starting 11 anymore. But I don't know whether it's something that's pre-agreed, but Casemiro, how many times has he played 90 minutes for United this season? I don't actually know. Could he have played the full 90 against Spurs, given it was the international break coming up? Maybe. Was it pre-planned? Is it always pre-planned that Casemiro won't see out 90 minutes? I don't quite know. Ruben Amorim spoke about January signings after the game, and it's not a case of going into the window panicking and desperately wanting to try and sign a midfielder. But truth be told, we need a midfielder. We needed a midfielder in the summer. And if we've got the finances for it, you really should accelerate a plan you're going to have in June to bring in a midfielder in January. However, you shouldn't just bring in any midfielder. And right now, I think Elliot Anderson will be top of the list currently for United. But I've already said this before, if I'm Forest, there's no way I'm selling Elliot Anderson in January, no matter what price United come in for, because he's probably going to get in the World Cup squad and he's probably going to therefore go up in value. So the World Cup complicates it, I think, for United. Because, I mean, January window is always bloody hard. We need another midfielder. We needed one in the summer. And that's why the summer couldn't be considered a 10 out of 10. It was a strong window, but we're really seeing that's a stark contrast in the first half and the second half, and with and without Casemiro, and it's all linked to midfielders. Now, somebody else who played fantastic against Spurs was Ligt. And it's not just the first game that Ligt has played fantastic in. I think he's been our player of the season so far. I think he's been pretty damn consistent. He's the only Manchester United player to play every minute in the Premier League this season. And I think his importance to the team, his leadership in the team, it's just kind of growing game by game. Amorim speaking about Ligt after the game, saying, look, he's doing really well, really aggressive. He's got more quality on the ball, but it's that bit there saying when we reach a very good point, our three centre-backs will control the tempo and the quality of the game. I'll be honest, that's partly the reason why I really need Lisandro Martinez back in this team. Luke Shaw may have been fit enough somehow to start 11 games. Well, I don't know exactly why, because he got World Cup coming up. No, his fitness has improved this season, for sure. But I want Martinez in that team because I want him for the tempo controlling, for those line-breaking balls, the vertical balls that just open teams up. I'm really happy for Ligt. When he came in, I said, if he stays fit, there's every chance that Ligt will be a future captain of Manchester United. And I think we're seeing this season that version of Ligt. I think he's getting better. It was a towering header, by the way. Kind of feel like Ligt should be scoring more headers, more from corners. It was a cracking one. But overall, as I said, United are undefeated in 5. Is it the end game? No. Has there been progress? Of course there's been progress. Don't ignore that. However, you're all correct to point out that United in second halves, we're way too leaky. We're way too vulnerable. And there's quite a few factors that are affecting that. So we'll speak about those during the international break. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. But 5 undefeated at least.